Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So let me share with you, sister, a shit show of an attempted webinar that I had yesterday. So some of you might be aware I've actually been on some of my webinars, but I teach trainings usually a couple times a month. It'll be on what I teach here, right on the podcast. And the specific one was how to create your best marriage, business, bonding family without running yourself into the ground. So really like practical tools, tips to take away from that webinar. And I will check in with my support staff on that. His name is Joelle. Does amazing work for me. And as we're checking in 30 minutes before, we can't get on to the server. So if you're listening and you don't really understand technology and stuff, think of it like the webinar has to be hosted on something. Think of like if you put a video on YouTube or you post something onto Facebook, right? Like it has to be somewhere. So the platform that we always use, which is normally no issues, like never any issues, was down. So we are scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. Is it going to come back up? And in the meantime, in the back of my mind, I'm not freaking out about it, I'm not stressed. I'm like, shit's going down. What do you do? And I share with you towards the end of this episode today is, what really happens and what that means when you can show up calm in the eye of the storm. When you can be certain when things seem so uncertain. When you can learn, like really learn. Like I know you've heard this before, sister, but like really learn to trust when everything is going sideways. That it'll work out. But in the back of my mind, as all this stuff is happening, and Joel and I are messaging back and forth on Facebook and trying to figure stuff out, like, well, let's mail it to the list because now they can't even get in. Maybe it'll be delayed for a short period of time. We can get back in, and lots of back and forth in about maybe 20-minute period of time. So in the back of my mind, I had this. What's another way? There's always another way. It is up to us to go find the fucking way. Go find that new way. Go find another way. So I'm thinking as this is going down, I'm like, you know what? Maybe what I could do instead, especially with Facebook Live, it won't be the webinar. You can't see slides, right? You can't see images and text and all that kind of stuff, but it'll be me, Facebook Live. You've probably been on some Facebook Lives, if not maybe some of mine. And I'm going to teach, it'll be a shorter version. I'm going to teach a lesson. I don't even know what it was because I don't have slides in front of me. It's not that I don't know my material. I'm very, when I do webinars, like it's just kind of there to keep me going through, but I know what I'm speaking on. I'm very prepared. I'm ready to deliver. And I take these webinars very seriously, just like I do recording these podcast episodes. It's like my sermon, if you will, right? Like it is up to me to deliver. Because I never know if it's you, sister, or 50 sisters that are hearing the message and they really need to hear the message on that day. And it's up to me to deliver it and be present and focused and certain. Even when shit's going sideways, which it did yesterday. So I'm like, all right, so now it's like 1:45. I'm like, Joelle, this is what we're doing. We're doing a Facebook Live. Sent out like really quick copy to Joelle saying, if you can send this now to my list, because I didn't have time to do it. I was just trying to prepare and get ready. So all the women that registered, send this out. Hey, technology is great. Some of you, if you were registered for this webinar, you're like, except when it doesn't work, right? It was something like that. It's like, hey, here's what we're doing instead. Go over to my personal page. If you don't already like me there, like it. I'll accept your friend request. And I'm going to do it right there. Facebook Live. Boom. Now, did I talk about, what I was going to on the webinar? No, it was really different. I remember just being like, again, I wasn't stressed. Like it was intense. I remember kind of thinking like, okay, let me just listen to the voice. What do I need to share? And it just so happens I've been writing a lot of copy right now for some different emails that I'll be sending out to some of you that are on some of my different email lists and follow-ups. And these are things that become automated so that different ways that I can really share content, give you value. But I'm not necessarily sitting down to write it like each day, right? Like they're set into a system. And that allows me to really focus on what I do best, which is things like this podcast and coach and create more. And so as I'm creating this piece and sharing some stuff about my story, I remember thinking like, what's been really true for me? I'm like, yeah, I remember the experience I had in a cemetery a year ago. I mean, how could I forget that? The experience changed my life. So I talked about that story. And I'll put a link in the show notes here to a podcast that I did after that. It was part of a coaching program I was part of, which was called Shield Maiden. I was part of that for a year. And I shared, what really was true for me. What was the epiphany? What was it that came up? And one of the biggest pieces when I reflected back as I was writing stuff yesterday in the morning was like, oh my God, the power of being in that group of women. Like that was it. That was it. I've been to like tons of, I've been doing personal development stuff since like about 23 and I'm almost 48. So like a long fucking time. This stuff is not like, suddenly I've discovered something new in the last 2 years and my mind's blown wide open. But there's something that's been different when I started with Shield Maiden about a year and a half ago, being part of a group of women that are committed to power in all areas of their life, with their marriage and relationships, with their businesses, inside their bodies, with their health, and with their families and their children. And it was because of being part of that powerful group that I had that experience. Now, it was still me doing the work, right? I could have gone on to that two and a half day intense experience in Laguna Beach, California, away from my husband, away from my kids, away from business. I could have gone in and kind of pretended and postured and lied, but I didn't to that experience. I went all fucking in. And because of the work that I did, because of the willingness I had to go there, I was able to see something that I couldn't see. And I shared this, and it was powerful. So, the quote-unquote webinar yesterday did not go down according to plan. I got news for you, sister. Life often does not go according to plan. It just doesn't. And I remember after I did the Facebook Live, inviting women to join the Sisterhood, a couple jumped on board. They're so excited. Talk about that towards the very end as well too. And again, I saw the reason. I'm like, I was in Shield Maiden, and even though I had been coaching, still coaching, group masterminds, one-on-one, create a couple online courses, that I really wanted to take this message. I felt compelled, called, the voice. You need to reach more women. See, there's so many of you that listen to podcasts every single day. Right now, an average of about 2,500 listens a day. Incredible, right? Listen to 174 countries around the world. We're gonna hit a million downloads by the end of May. Like, holy shit. Amazing. But yet, there's many of you that are gonna listen and do nothing with this. Like, it's very difficult to do stuff on your own. In a powerful group that is committed to similar things, that are like-minded, you have accountability, right? You have access to that powerful group, to someone leading the group, which is, in this case with the Sisterhood, is me that I've created, the Sisterhood 4 weeks ago. You have action that you're taking within that. There's a plan. It's not just talk. And just incredible things happened when I was part of a group like this last year. And again, it didn't go according to plan, but it went exactly as how it was supposed to be. And if I got stressed out, and if I got flustered, and if I got frustrated, just said like, fuck it, we got to cancel everything, like forget it. I was like, no, find a way, Karen. Find a way. Find a way. So here's your more tip for you today, sister. Where are you right now in your life where you feel like stuck, right? Where life has gone sideways. where your technology, in my case, right, shit the bed, like just stuff didn't go according to plan. And you're like, spinning the stories. It's not fair. Why did he say that? She shouldn't have done this. Fuck me, poor me, why me? Let's be the three whys not to say. Poor me, why me, fuck me. So instead of going to that place, wherever it is that you feel that life has, again, gone sideways, giving you that curveball, not gone according to plan, I want you to journal for 10 minutes today, sister, not tomorrow, like today. You can even, as you listen to this podcast, like if you're driving, pull over, start writing, speak it. If you want to, grab your phone. Most of you listen to the podcast with your phone. Speak into the phone. You got a voice memo. You can speak in and record it. You can do it that way. Write it down. But really just start to like really riff and go, what's another possibility? Like what's another solution? What's another way that I could find? And really see, what insights come up from this to really help you see something that you're supposed to see in this shit that you're now experiencing in your life. So check this out. The Sisterhood, I just launched this yesterday. This will be 4 or 5 days later from when I'm recording this podcast episode, because I record these in advance, where you can actually join the Sisterhood. There are now 60 women in as I record this episode, women that are committed to change. They want the best in their marriage. They want the best in their business and work. They want the best in their body. And they want the best with their family, their connection with their children. And the changes, sister, in the 4 weeks are absolutely incredible. But here's something new that I did yesterday at my quote-unquote webinar. And I'll make sure that you get this as well then too. So it's the opportunity to actually try the Sisterhood for 7 days for free. For free. After that, the investment is incredibly minimal, but you get to try it for free for 7 days. So there is no excuse, there is no risk. And I know that once you get inside and you start interacting, engaging with the sisters there, following my daily Sisterhood tip, showing up for within the 7 days, one of my Facebook Live trainings, you get access to me live, something that my other clients pay me $5,000 on up to do. You get it for free for the next 7 days, sister. And then after that, it's less than half of a Starbucks latte every single day. Ridiculous. If change is what you want, if different is what you want, you got to do something different. So here's what I want you to do. Head over to drkarenosburn.com/sisterhood. So that's spelled DRKARENOSBURN. drkarenosburn.com/sisterhood. Enter in your email. You're going to see a quick video with me. And you will see the next page, which is all the information and 3 different areas where you can actually join. And I will see you then inside the Sisterhood. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.